Alright, you guys. Hey, keep hitting that like button. It really does help. I know it's cliche, but now I got birds chirping. I'm sure you have a cicada filter that takes the cicada out. I don't know. Hey, we got a Mercury. It's a Merc 950 kickoff for Mercury. It's 95 horsepower. So this is going to be our next little project, and so we can take a good look at it. We got a 2-blade prop down here. For the life of me, I don't know when they went to a 2-blade, but we got a 2-blade there, and the motor's in unbelievable shape for its age. This is we think late 60s. We do have, you know, a serial on it, and it's right there. Looks like our serial on there is 201-0047. So late 60s. This is a silverback. Guy wants me to. He's a fellow YouTuber, or you know, he watches the channel. So what we want to do is do a compression test on it, and of course it's got some wiring that kind of needs to be worked out, but this is going to be our next project, just to see if we can get this running. It's got a remote wiring harness, so this really is an unbelievable shape. But I guess we'll start just to kind of dig into it. Got the front cowling. It's got the cool, you know, aluminum pieces to the motor. It's obviously got our regular cowl you always see on Mercury's. So this is a very rare motor, I believe. At least I don't see very many. It's really, I mean, it's very much intact. We've got, you know, most of our wiring looks really good. We did take the cowl off the top, and does need a new belt. The belt is broken, so we're not going to worry about that too much. Most of the wiring looks pretty good, but it's typical of these motors that this wiring harness is what is bad. It's almost always bad. A lot of the stuff, you know, it's like one of those, like once you start touching it, you know, it starts falling apart on you. So, you know, he really just wants to know whether or not it's gonna, you know, be something that can be saved. Obviously, we got a different type of coil than we normally see, like on the Thunderbolt series engines. So you got to check all our stuff. But the first thing to start is to see if it has compression. If it has compression, then we can move forward. If it doesn't have compression, then, you know, it's pretty much a dead engine. There's a lot of good parts on it. There's some things like this little piece of tape in the front. I'm going to try to get some glue or something to put here so that sticker stays. It's his original sticker. So he does have a wiring harness that and a remote, like I was saying, with a key. So that I guess maybe that is like one of the first things that I need to check. So we got 2 fuel pumps, and we got this massive coil over here that, like I said, is very early, and then We got our starter, and the way the hood comes off on these, you know, because the later years of Mercs, they had a latch in the front, but the latch is going to be, you know, on the sides. There's one on the other side, and then this hood comes off. I say that, but I think you just got to get it started. Hello. Oh, okay. Customer brought me this CDI 414-2770, and this is just a, you know, a new harness for the engine side. So I'm showing you this because I got two options. To do a compression test, either I could, you know, I gotta get the belt, what remains of the belt off, and it's broken. It's up in here, and you can see that it's broken. So I gotta get the remains of that off. You know, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to get a pair of pliers or something to get that out, unless I've got to take the flywheel off, and I'm hoping that I can just fish this out of here. So again, I have two options. Either A, I can go ahead and put this new harness in, which is this guy, and use the starter, like use the remote that I have that plugs into this, or I can just hook up a couple of battery cables, or I'm sorry, so I can either do this and try to start it, hook up a battery, try to start it and see if it'll turn over, or I could take a drill and put it up on top and turn the drill and turn the flywheel that way. So I kind of got to make a decision. And you know, the drill on the flywheel thing, that works really good on a small engine, but on a big engine like this, I'm kind of hesitant to do that, because I mean it's kind of dangerous. So I think what the better thing to do is maybe go ahead and just hook this in, and you know, use the starter. The only downside of that, using the starter, since it's old, you know, we don't want to have the starter damaged or anything like that. It is a little bit of extra work because, for one thing on this is that you know, we gotta have a good strong battery. We don't want to destroy the starter. Or the other thing is that once you start messing with the wiring, then it can get a little bit of an issue. So got to make a couple of decisions, and then, you know, just kind of move forward with it. I think that most of the wiring that comes down to here is pretty much shot, and so, you know, again, I could probably disconnect this and just put, which is what I may do, just because, so we know before we do a bunch of work. And this is just me thinking out loud here. You know, if you look, right here is our solenoid, okay? And the only thing that I would say about this is that we have an alternator that's driving the box. So we really almost need to take apart the box if we're gonna just hook in some battery cables to here, and then, you know, find our starter. You know, like this is obviously our ignition line. This is probably going to go to ground, which it is. And then, you know, this side of the solenoid is going to here, so we can check the solenoid, check the starter circuit, but we need to disconnect our lines coming from the alternator, just so that no voltage is hitting the box. Does that make sense? So we don't want any voltage hitting the box, because we do have some wires that are kind of corroded. So we can take this red wire off, and you know, this kind of goes down over to here. So we got to find out where our alternator lines come from. And since the belt is not connected, then it would just be a matter of so I don't even know if this is even, you know. Oh, okay, here's our alternator lines. It goes down, it goes into this yeah, it was pretty well. Yeah, let me show you. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of thinking out loud, trying to get a game plan here, but you know, we've got over here, so from the alternator we got a rectifier, basically this is a voltage rectifier, you know, I don't know if, I mean, because this looks like the old school one where it's a voltage rectifier and a voltage regulator. But we got these lines coming up through this sealed plastic here, and then they hit this, and this is your hot line that goes over to the switch box. So we need to disconnect this, but we also need to, so that, you know, we don't know how far up in here this is damaged. So we start turning this motor over. I mean, we don't want any arcing right here. So that's something I'm gonna have to probably do first, is disconnect our lines from the alternator. And you know, if these are disconnected from the alternator up here, then you know, we're good. Well, the first thing really that I'm gonna do is get this belt off so I can make sure that it turns. So right now, I mean, it's locked. So it could be, you know, that we have a really bad situation. That no, it is turning. So it's turning this out. There we go. Yeah. Now let's see if this will turn. Yeah, it's turning. It's really hard. So it must have pretty good compression, because it's hard to turn. So I think maybe we take the plug wires out. Let's see, put some 2-cycle oil in all the cylinders. Since this is an old engine, let's do that. Let's take the plugs out, and then let's put some 2-cycle oil in all the cylinders, so we know this thing has got a little bit of oil in it. And then we can go to our alternator here. We can take this apart, slice this back, when we know this isn't going to arc.